hopefully in my lifetime, unless they're really fabulous additions, I don't really need to know any more information about them. I'd like to know more about life elsewhere, possibilities, inhabitable planets, things like that, in case our planet becomes so compromised that we need to go somewhere, which I also hope doesn't happen.
Yeah, that thought alone
terrifies me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Girls Gone Gritty. I'm sitting here in my Got Grit studios, and I'm saying hi to my lovely ladies at Bring It On Studios. How you ladies doing today, Far and Jen?
We are good.
All's great.
We're planning on having a little fiesta tonight.
Yeah.
Because we got some good news.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that is some super good news to all you viewers out there. It is so exciting. Girls Gone Gritty are the finalists in the top 50 of 50 and over podcaster awards. This is so rad. We are up there with the runnings with Mel Robbins. Fingers crossed, because we're going to know soon. This is really exciting, ladies. Who knew? 50? I love that number. It's 50 and fab all the time.
Just to be included in the company of Mel and to place and to be a finalist is very validating. And I'm going to give us a pat on the back, and we're going to celebrate and have a little cocktail and cheers. Everybody that's over 50.
And a little cheers to Jen Hardy, who is a innovator in the podcast space. She puts this event together. You can just check her out, jenhardy.net. I can't even do justice to give her accolades. They're just too many. I'm feeling good about 50 because we celebrated my brother's 50th birthday this past weekend. So 50 is in the air all around Girls Gone Gritty. So
we had our 50th episode recently. You can go back and check us out as we do a little SNL tribute to our 50th episode.
Yep.
Yeah.
So lots of fives.
It's a lucky number. I might bet on it today.
Lots of fives. And speaking of fives, ladies, what are the top 5 grittiest headlines of this week, Far? I think you're dropping them.
Oh, all right. Number 1, don't hit me with a pickle. I prefer a padel.
Well, I'm actually have to say, I like that sport a lot better. So for those of you that are not sure about that double entendre there, pickleball has just been surpassed in a place, I think it was LA, if I read that article correctly, that now Padel is the fastest growing sport. So it's a cool sport if you don't know it. We have a new place by us. We're hoping that they're going to be open soon. Nichols Rackets. We'll give a little shout out to them as well.
Because it's a little more rigorous of a sport than pickleball. So
yeah, a lot of running. There is no out beside walls.
The sport began in 1960 in Mexico, and it's in South America. It's in Europe. It's kind of taking over. But the cool thing about this sport is that it's a foam paddle racket, and you're in a tennis court that's actually like it's tempered glass walls, and the fuzzy ball, it looks like a tennis ball, but it's less bouncy, and it's just another sport for people to do, and people are so into it. And what it reminds me of is platform tennis, because you have a dense hard ball and you want to play in the winter, and you're in a chicken coop, almost a caged fence. It's a fast game. Always love another sport that's coming, and we'll see what happens with this sport.
Meets paddle, meets pickle, meets tennis, meets like all the best parts of racquetball sports all in one.
Everybody's just trying to rebrand it. Everybody wants to play paddle sports right now.
And it's kind of like a paddle, but paddle was already taken. So it's padel. Okay, number 2. We are in a sex recession unless you are a Gen X woman.
Woohoo. Gen X women, for those of you that forget that you were born from 1965 to 1980. So are you? And if you're not in a recession, that means you're in a state of growth. Are you guys in a state of growth?
Well, it's two things, right?
Are you getting booty?
You're still getting booty when you're married, or you're like divorcing and you're maybe like in a dry slump, or you're getting new booty.
Yeah.
So
well, they're saying that it's in a decline because when you're married, you're having sex all the time. And a lot of people, they're married to their phones, these younger generations. They're married to their tablets. You want to go on a date? They're texting you. So there's not that intimacy that people would have like the Gen X women. I mean, they're all in. So see what's going to happen further down the line. Are they going to have babies? Like what's going to go on? But having a sex recession, I'm out on that one.
I wonder what.
Sorry.
Well, and I also think women are taking on a career, and there's just the priorities of relationships have gone south. I think it's a sad state of not having sex. I can't believe that our demographic is the demographic that's having the most sex, but hey, we'll take it.
Bring it on.
Maybe it's HRT, which we're going to cover at some point.
Okay, number 3. Gatsby turns 100, but hasn't aged a bit.
I went to go see this on Broadway, and obviously seen the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. I read the book back when I was in high school, and it
It's
really
timeless.
is interesting how the story of America and the story of like the dichotomy of wealth and privilege and scandal and what people's tolerances are, they really have not changed. So, it's same shit, different day.
I love the Gatsby era. The glittering backdrop of the roaring 20s. They get after it, and their outfits and the flappers, and it was so elegant, but keep it going 100 years. That says a lot. It just shows you the timeless critique of wealth, the privilege of American dream. It's all there, the Great Gatsby.
Well, that takes us to number 4. After 40 years, it looks like the sun isn't gonna dance. I'm done with Utah.
Jen? Utah. Well, let's talk about that. That the fact that the Sundance Film Festival finds a new partner and moves to Colorado, to Boulder. Now, I love the Sundance Film Festival. I feel that you go to Park City and people are wearing furs and it's elegant and it's such a beautiful venue for these movies that come through. Robert Redford, he's there. Well, now you hear that they move it over to Colorado. Robert Redford did go to the University of Colorado, so he does have a tie with it. I know that they were trying to bring in jobs to Boulder, and then they do have they do have an entertainment vibe because I worked at Fox Sports and I was in Denver and we'd always go to Boulder, but it does have that artsy community. So it'll be interesting to see how people take it. It doesn't have the flash and the glitz of Park City. A lot of people travel from Aspen, you come from New York, these big cities. I wonder if people will bring their elegance, or will it have been lost in Park City?
Well, I do think that the Park City demographic for Sundance will just transplant to wherever it ends up, which obviously now we know it's Boulder. I guess Cincinnati was in the running. There were a lot of different cities vying for it, sort of like the
Salt Lake
Olympics.
City was.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Salt Lake City, of course, they're very upset that they lost it.
Maybe they had new sponsors that came in and said, hey, let's relocate. Because I know it did bring a lot of jobs to the area over the last 40 years. And maybe they're just sharing the wealth going to Boulder, which is, it's such a groovy town. I
don't think
absolutely love
anybody's
it.
sharing. I think they just lost.
Yeah. Wah, wah, wah.
Oh, too bad. Too bad for Utah. Good for Colorado.
Yeah.
Ah.
Number 5. Smack that, give me some more. Smack that till you get sore. Will Smith's self-acclaimed comeback after the smack. What do you guys think about that?
Well, the smack heard round the world against Chris Rock's face was pretty impressive that we're still talking about it. I can't speak to him as a human being, but I do love him in all the movies. And we're going to talk about him in our later segment for some of the things that he did. But I think he's a pretty good actor. Hated I Am Legend. But I would like him to just be a nicer person sometimes. And so he's so full of himself.
Yeah, well, he stayed out of the spotlight since 2022, and he was banned for 10 years from the Motion Picture Academy. So let's see what happens now, where he goes.
Coming out with an album. And, I liked his music. In fact, that's part of our shtick is getting gritty with it, but we call it getting jiggy with it.
Yeah, he's talented. Listen, you can't take away the talent from him for sure. But I do think some of the actors, they have incredible egos, and he was up for an Academy Award that day. He won that Academy Award for
King Richard.
And, he was probably just feeling like, you're not going to talk about my wife. I think we were saying that they were having marital issues, they said, and it was something that put them back together. So, hey, listen, maybe it was serendipitous. Maybe it was stupidity. I am not judge nor jury, but we shall see what his viewing and listening and fan base thinks.
I thought it was a publicity stunt and was waiting for somebody to explain what happened. And then I was like, holy crap, that was real. Crazy.
Well, ladies, I'm feeling very spacey today. I'm feeling very extraterrestrial. I'm having a spin. I feel like I'm seeing flashes. Is it an alien? Is it a drone? What are we talking about today? We're going to talk about some spooky stuff. Spacey.
UFO. Do you believe
in aliens
or not?
And we're talking about the ones that are outside of our planet.
Not illegal. Yeah, not
I saw a lot of
illegal
aliens this weekend.
Not illegal.
I was in this crazy bar. I was like, ooh, I feel like I'm in a Star Wars bar. Ooh, are any of these aliens? You never quite know who's lurking. Are they real or are they a figment of your imagination?
Well,
Hmm.
I am obsessed with the thought of aliens, and I'll go on record of saying I do believe that there is life on other planets, and I do believe in aliens. To me, it's that movie Contact, Jodie Foster and Matthew McConaughey, where it's faith. You have to believe it, and then they're out there. But I think the bigger question is, have the governments of our modern society, have they ever made contact with them? And so where are they? Where's the proof? And why don't we know? And
Because the government only wants to tell us what they want us to know. And widespread panic happened with Orson Welles' War of the Worlds. And that might have just been a like governmental test, even CBS putting it out there and everybody going wild. I do happen to know something very legit. And I dated somebody that had a very high up father. He was the U.S. military Sea Lift commander. And I would go and stay with them during the summers. And they lived in Norfolk, Mayport, and then lived in D.C. When I went to see them in D.C., I got to do a Pentagon tour and I got to do some really insiders type things. When I first got there, he said, I'm going to allow you to ask me one question. It can be anything in the world. And I'm going to give you a yes or no answer, but I promise I will be honest with my answer. And I want you to think about it the whole weekend. And then on Sunday, when we have dinner before you leave, you can ask me the question and I'll give you the yes or no answer. So I'm going to let you all think about that as we talk a little bit more about UFOs and aliens. And I will give you my question and his answer in a little bit.
I have a feeling we can all ascertain probably the angle of this question based on the episode, but we will definitely get back to that because I think that the modern TV/radio did a really good job of scaring the hell out of a lot of people in a good way. My kids, I showed them a movie that was old movie that I remember being really scared at. And I thought, oh God, movies don't translate that well anymore. They won't be scared. It's a non-starter scary movie. And I hate scary movies, but we watched the attack of the body snatchers,
Invasion.
Yes, that was the scariest movie in the world.
Was awful. And a little bit of a spoiler alert for those of you that haven't seen it, you should see it. But that one is one where the aliens win. And it's horrifying that they could take you over and then your doppelganger now is the alien living your life in a crazy way. I think that's part of what Farley's saying with you can't create some panic with the confirmation
the fear of the unknown.
Confirmation. No, but I think it would be the confirmation.
Yeah,
the fear of the unknown is unknown. And so it's scary, but it looms out there. The known of us not being alone would be, I think, a major blow to not just our individual psyche, but it would be really hard to explain for some of our faiths, for some of our religions. I think that tackling that subject, like God, where God fits in, would be extremely controversial if we found another alien life form and they were not just like us or in a similar place to us. So I think there's a lot of things at play.
Think about all the movies that come to life that you see, and all of a sudden, as the years go by, look at all the Steven Spielberg movies. E.T., Phone Home. E.T. was like the most adorable little alien that came down that you wanted to be friends with. And then all of a sudden, people are fearing him. But I thought he was so cute. Think about, or Close Encounter of the Third Kind. Spielberg, he just had this vision. And now you look back, you're like, is any of this really true? Are there really aliens out there? I feel that there are. You look in the sky, I remember on a beach day, I think it was last summer, and there was this kind of spinning circle. It looked like a star, but it just sat there and it was just there, and then it would disappeared. And the next day in the news, that a UFO, they got to be there. They have to. There has to be life out there.
The universe, they say the sheer size and complexity raises the possibility that how could life not exist elsewhere? So that's what boggles your brain. Look up and you're like, okay, that's infinity. I used to look at the sky and thinking that it's actually infinity. And the fact that there's exoplanets, the discovery of thousands of exoplanets, those are planets outside of our solar system, increases the likelihood that there's are habitable planets out there. And you look at stars as grains of sand. I read an article where they said it's like the beach, and that just goes on and on. I think we would be pretty shallow to think that God didn't create life somewhere else. He's letting us know what he did here, and he might have a lot of different projects going on if you believe in him, or if you believe in the Big Bang theory, then you've got that. There's proof that there are microorganisms and bacteria on other planets.
Yeah, it dates back until like the mid 70s when the technology wasn't where it is today for the reach and the depth of research on places like Mars. That's only accelerating thanks to all of the advances that we've had in space exploration and technology. The Hubble telescope, what that's been able to project back to us here on Earth, light years and light years away, are evolving at such a small place and space that it's only within the last 50 years that we really have been able to explore it in a way that could validate it, yes or no. So I think we're at the infancy of seeing what's going to happen.
I would be all for time travel. I'll tell you, I'm
but imagine if
time travel.
Imagine if it came out over the news, an alien was spotted. It would put the fear of God in the country, in the world. It would be like one of the old movies, literally, when it just wreaks havoc.
Well, that reminds me of Men in Black. I loved that trilogy. I just think it's so funny that they're like, Michael Jackson's an alien, like Rodney, the basketball player, the crazy Dennis Rodman's an alien. They're like, I knew it. He had to be an alien. They couldn't be from this planet. And then they wouldn't let Michael Jackson be an MIB agent. Like,
oh, that's right. Yeah, Rodman asked me out once. Newport Beach. I was like, no, I'm going surfing. Bye.
You could have had alien babies.
I said, I throw bricks. I'm sorry, my friend. I have no game on the court.
Astrobiology is the study of life beyond Earth. And it's a fascinating study because there's so much that we don't know. The experts are the astronauts of today and the scientists that are predicting the giant balls of fire that are hurling towards the Earth that are going to get here in 25 years. But to be an astrobiologist and not be able to confirm that there is life anywhere else would be frustrating. So,
if you knew, could you tell anybody? That's the whole thing. And how do you know if it's really true?
It's always been a fascination of mine. Area 51. And we know that it's run by the Department of Defense. And we also know that the U.S. Air Force uses it for highly classified projects. And we've all been told that it's really experimental aircrafts and weapons systems that they're developing. But if they don't tell us anything beyond that, how do we believe that that's really everything that's going on in Roswell? The same thing. Okay, they blame it on the balloons crashing and there was residue, but once again, we are told what they want us to know.
Well, that's
right.
And
that's with everything right now, by the way.
Right, because to your point, individuals are intelligent. Individuals can handle things, but masses of people we've obviously learned go to the dark side really quickly, in mass. I would hope that if we found out we weren't alone, it would be a unifying place for planet Earth. But unfortunately, as a species, we've not demonstrated that we unify on larger issues of that are solvable, right? So having an alien come through, I don't think would be good for society at all. I think it would be.
You think it would be mass hysteria? You're like
George Jetson, like all the little cute things that we grew up with never freaked me out. But Close Encounters of the Third Kind, I still remember the song like.
Yeah.
Like I am affected by that. I don't think I've seen it since it came out. But when I first saw it, it was so realistic to me. And all of a sudden the UFO that George Jetson was flying around in, this became like terrifying to me. I was scared of it. So there is something that is terrifying about it. You hope that they're going to be nice aliens and they're going to be like ET.
There's always a bad one though. Bad one in the bunch.
I think it's a bigger issue of how we would handle it, because if we're using ET as an example, like what they did to ET at the end was terrible.
Terrible.
And
It's
it's all
terrible.
it's all in the name of science and knowing and understanding more and making sure we can be in control. You know, that's another human condition that is just gets exacerbated when you have fear, right? If people are afraid and they don't know how to handle something, they'll be protectionary. And the alien in ET got out barely alive.
Well, that
Yeah.
being said, I had a lot of time to think about my question, and it could have been in any direction, but I was so fascinated with extraterrestrials and UFOs and is there life beyond Earth that I really wanted to formulate the perfect question. I didn't want it just to be, is there proof of UFOs? I genuinely wanted to extract the most meaningful yes or no of my life. So it was a double loaded question. It was, is there proof that aliens exist? And if so, is it kept in the Pentagon? Because
Nice question, Far.
Well, because there are like lower floors, like we just discussed about Disney World and other places. And I obviously know that it's top secret. Like I was not allowed to go anywhere close to those floors. And he looked at me and he said, yes. So this man had a bat phone in the hallway and was fourth in chain of command under the president at that moment. If that person says yes to my double loaded question, then I have to say, I hope it's not remnants of like tea that have been scientifically, preserved, but there is definitely proof that there is life beyond Earth in the Pentagon. I don't know what form it is.
They're probably in some solution just floating there like the space movies, and you could go in there and they're creepy bodies.
Or it's a piece of the space machine that they made it to Earth in, or who knows. But it's real. That's the closest person that the three of us have ever come into contact with that can actually really confirm it at that level. Yeah.
Well, from a scientific standpoint, to take you through some of the things that I found, because I do believe that there's more proof that is scattered since the mid 70s. They have proof of chemical compositions. In 1976, a Viking Mars lander detected chemical signatures that were indicative of life. That's in 1976, guys. That's 50.
We've got major technology
now, since then. And then in 1977, Ohio State got a signal back on a radio telescope. And it was in a frequency that you're not allowed to use here on Earth. So it was a 37-second long signal that was so startling that the astronomer monitoring the data scrawled "wow" on the telescope's printout. The signal was within a band of frequencies where transmissions are internationally banned on Earth. So there's that. And then in 1996, Martian fossils were discovered on a meteorite from Antarctica. In 2001, calculations
fossils of what does it say? What
NASA scientists found what appeared to be fossilized microbes in a potato lump shaped Martian rock. The meteorite was blasted off the surface of Mars in a collision and wandered into the solar system for some 15 million years before plummeting to Antarctica, where it was discovered in 1984. So the actual rock was discovered in 84, but then they found the microbes later, I'm sure, when the technology caught up. So then in 2001, there were calculations of the Drake equation. It's a equation that they use in finding life all over the solar system, and they said that the chances of our galaxy having hundreds of thousands of life-bearing planets is extremely high. So there's that.
Wow.
In 2001, the red tinge of Jupiter's moon Europa had frozen bits of bacteria, which gives it an infrared signal. There's all these tiny microbes that are in Jupiter, which is even further out on our planet. Heliocentric version of our universe is the sun, and everything moves outward from that. Life has been around for millions of years on some form or fashion. So we could have just missed our alien friends.
Or God is just so smart, which we know he is, that he recognizes we can't even get along as the human race on one planet, that he was strategic enough to create life on other planets hundreds of thousands of light years away and not let us have the technology to get to each other yet, thankfully. That's
Well,
You need a laser to blow their heads off when they come to you.
lasers.
I think something that is frightening is that all these pilots have stories, and they're the ones that have the most stories. They're in the air all the time, and they see things. And UAPs are unidentified aerial phenomenons, and apparently there's an office in the government, and it's actually Anomaly Resolution Office. It's AARO, and there's a task force, and all the information that these pilots have to put in reports are collected, and there are files and files of stories and unexplained things that they saw, very vivid details, and some of them have even captured pictures with cameras from the cockpits. So, and we're talking military and commercial airline pilots.
Well, we'll go back to the drones episode we had on that. The number of satellites and drones that are floating around in our atmosphere, both here within sight,
and some are gigantic
outside of our flying atmosphere, is staggering. Actually insane. The amount of space junk they're talking about is going to get it harder and harder to launch these missions out into space, because there's just so much stuff already circling the Earth.
And it's just out floating.
Like Wall-E, they were trying to leave our atmosphere, and there was all the stuff, and they couldn't, like that.
Right now, there's more UFO sightings than there have ever been.
I know.
Because some of these drones are massive, and they don't look like they're drones.
They've actually said that they are foreign intelligence.
Call them UAPs, the unidentified aerial phenomenon. We know they're surveilling us, but why are there no rules? And why don't we know what they're surveilling? And why are they allowed? And why can't we shoot them down?
So
we're definitely being surveilled. We think we know who is surveilling us, China, Russia, but we also could be surveilled by extraterrestrials that are just much more advanced than us. And maybe they're trying to figure us out.
I think if they're watching, they're staying away.
Well, that's, exactly. So what do you believe? This is a little bit of a gritty conversation because, as Jen said, it depends on your faith. And I genuinely do believe that there is life elsewhere. But in my heart, I feel like it's God's doing. And it was another project that he took on. And hopefully in my lifetime, unless they're really fabulous additions, I don't really need to know any more information about them. I'd like to know more about life elsewhere, possibilities, inhabitable planets, things like that, in case our planet becomes so compromised that we need to go somewhere, which I also hope doesn't happen.
Yeah, that thought alone
terrifies me.
It makes me incredibly sad. I
look to the light, ladies. Look to the light.
Well, we'll see if they can get a outpost, I guess you'd call it, on Mars in our future, because we know how quickly technology has moved in the last 20 years. So if it continues to move at the pace in which it has, the Elon Musks of the world, if he creates an outpost, then that's another place to do more exploration and more scientific research. And who knows what we'll find. I think it'll be an interesting day for mankind.
Might get vandalized. No, I'm just kidding. What?
We appreciate you listening to our banter here on aliens. I think it's a cool conversation to have. Kids with your parents.
Everybody's got some type of a belief system, whether or not they think they've seen something, they swear they saw something. We've all thought about this topic, so we decided to make it real and talk about it.
Yeah, so let us know what you think out there in our listening audience. Do you believe in aliens, UFOs, and the unknown out there in outer space? We'd love to hear what you have to think.
And I'm actually more comfortable with this conversation than zombies. So, to me, yeah.
That's because zombies do exist.
I hate zombies.
Yeah, like the drug zombies.
They do.
No, I know.
Don't like zombies. Don't like zombie movies.
Don't like zombie movies.
No. My husband went to Canada, and the fentanyl flop is a real thing.
Oh,
it's a real scary, horrible, like they're zombies. They're literally zombies. And my husband was walking through downtown Calgary, and he was like, what are those people all looking for on the ground? and they all had fentanyl flop where their whole bodies were hunched over like that and they can't stand up. So
This is why the
zombies
aliens
real.
are staying away.
Agreed.
Yes. Maybe they're the aliens inside of their bodies.
See, I think I need, after this conversation right now, I need some uplifting tunes. You got a
Yes.
song for us?
Yeah.
Something that's inspirational?
Yes, definitely. Thought I'd bring a little light and sunshine and beach and ocean, springtime to you. The song that I'm going to tell you about and share my lyrics is something that I think will hit all our hearts. And you'll guess it in 2 seconds. I make them really easy. Early in the morning, we'll be starting out. Some honeys will be coming along. We're loading up our woody with our boards inside and heading out singing our song. Come on, baby, wait and see. Bum, 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 I can't tell you. Yes, I'm going to take you surfing with me.
Beach Boys.
Surfing in the USA?
Surfing safari. Yes. Yay, you guys got it. I knew you would.
Perfect. Yeah, it just took us out of this space, and I'm happy again. I love
Yay.
it.
Love it. Ladies, who is our Got Grit winner of the week?
So our Got Grit winner of the week is an incredible story of 3 words that she is all about. It's persistence, resilience, and faith. And this human being was born with just one operable arm and chose to pursue her love of basketball, not soccer, not a sport that requires other extremities, but basketball. And she was somebody who was cut her senior year of high school from her basketball team.
That coach
Ridiculous.
should be
And was scooped
fired.
up by Lesley University by
Coach Martin.
Martin Rather. By Martin Rather. She made history. It's the first NCAA Division III women's basketball player to score in a collegiate game. She scored a 3-pointer, ladies. Her name is Baileigh Sinaman-Daniel, and she's our Got Grit winner of the week for her consistency and dedication to something that she loved. And I just love those 3 words that emulate and embody who she is. So congrats, Baileigh.
Baileigh
Congrats,
wrote to
Baileigh.
200 universities to see if anybody would be willing to take her. So Coach Rather also is a Got Grit winner because he gave her the opportunity to make her dream a reality. So he's a hero too.
And once again, follow your passion and don't let anyone ever say no, because you will persevere and figure out a way to get something done if you want it. And that, I think she's amazing.
She scored a bucket on her birthday too. So
Aw.
go Baileigh.
Go Baileigh.
Go Baileigh. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in to Girls Gone Gritty. We love sharing our special week with you. Ladies, always love seeing you across the screen in New Jersey at Bring It On Studios. And anyone that wants to listen to us, go to Spotify, YouTube, or any of the listening platforms, Apple. Be sure to log into Instagram and give us thumbs up, give us some feedback, and hope you tune in next week.
You can leave a testimonial for us on girlsgonegritty.com.
Thank you guys so much. Peace out.
Peace.
Bye-bye.